This much younger and more handsome version of me is actually my son Peter, and I somehow persuaded him to walk around with me for 9 holes the other day on my home course and do some filming. Now he's dabbled with golf. He occasionally goes down the driving range, but he's much more skilled with the guitar. And he's giving me some terrific advice as a YouTube beginner as I am. He got some really nice footage during these 9 holes, so do stay tuned and see what we came up with. So this is the first hole at Macclesfield Golf Club. It's 290 yards. There's lots of short par 4s at Macclesfield. So overall the course is very short, but it's kind of fun to play. But this first hole, I really don't like this tee shot because you're steeply uphill and then it turns sharply to the left. And my swing shape that I'm trying to encourage at the moment is a little bit more of a fade, you know, a left to righter. But this hole needs a right to left. So it's kind of going against, you know, what I'm trying to do with my swing at the moment. But once you get to the top, it's still steep uphill and club selection is tricky. Now, because Peter was using the gimbal, which is a moving camera, I've used very little shot tracer on this video, so I'll try and indicate as we go along where the ball's gone. And that is A1. And right off the bat, off the first tee, you've got a steep slope up, and you're always out of breath for your second shot, but when you get to the top, it's worth the view, it really is. And because Peter was standing on top of the hill, on the video footage it was kind of nice to be able to see the ball land, which you very rarely do. And of course when you get, there's always that sense of anticipation with a blind shot, you know, where will it end up? So I was very, very pleased with the result of this, about 7 feet short. So everything tends to break this way on this, but it looks straight, but it's probably going to be a little bit left to right. So I'm going to aim at the left lip. And that was dreadful. But that's been my putting recently. I've got to ring the bell now. It sounds like there's a boxing match about to start when you hear that. So this is 356 yards, par 4. Unusual wind today, it's downwind. A very sloping fairway, slopes left to right. So you'll always have the ball below your feet for your second shot, even if you hit a nice drive. But the fairway is clear, so let's give it a go. And that is straight down the middle, pleased with that. It's always one of the best views when you walk off this second hole. Love this view. It's a very slopey fairway here. And as a right-handed player, when you've got the ball below your feet, it will tend to veer off to the right. So you kind of have to compensate and try and hit it further left or aim left and allow for the ball to go right. And it's because basically you swing, your back is going to be tilted more over. So your swing becomes more upright as a consequence. Now I cheated a little bit with this footage because I don't think Peter actually got this second shot. It was about 100 yards. I actually went back later on and re-filmed it, but it did end up over the back of the green. And one of the things that's tricky when you go over the back of the green is that often the grass is growing against you because of the line of the mower, of the cut. And this was the case here, so very easy to flub this, but it actually turned out really nicely in the end. Now I do actually love this third tee shot. It's a blind shot, the marker post is your line, And if you get a decent drive away, it'll go miles down there. It doesn't really play its yardage if you get the drive away well. Now, of course, being a creative type as he is, I think Peter saw an opportunity with this shot of me walking over the hill. So he saw spaghetti westerns, Sergio Leone, hence the music. Nice touch. And when you do get down to the drive, it's a beautiful view down into the screen from a sort of an elevated position. It's often a downslope. I think I hit a 9-iron here, pushed it right. Really disappointing shot and ended up in the most horrendous location. So the main drama of this 9 holes is about to unfold when you see where the ball ended up, not in the best position. So I am in a horrendous position here. It's very pretty with all the flowers, but we don't need pretty when we have a shot like this. I've basically got the ball at waist height in my stance. It's actually sitting okay, it's on a reasonable tuft, but I don't think I've ever had the ball this far above my feet before. So I've got to land it about here and then hopefully trundle it down to the hole, but it's anything could happen. I don't know if I've had the ball as near my face before. Oh no, let's try that one again. Now this is a comedy of errors. So after that horrendous hack in the long grass and the flowers, I've got this long putt for a double bogey 6. Actually, wasn't a bad effort in the end. So, bit of an all-round disaster there. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When I should have been looking at a 3. So we're on the 4th hole, 344 yards, one of the many short par 4s here at Macclesfield. Sloping fairway, right to left and uphill, severely uphill. Suits a fade, but I'm not sure I've got that in my repertoire. Actually, I have. Middle of the fairway. This is a very testing shot. It's only 100 yards, but up a steep hill. It's usually into the wind. It's actually downwind today, but there's a big 2-tier green. I think the pin, it looks like it's on the lower tier, but not that far. It's hard to tell actually. So I'm going to hit a little sort of half wedge. Just a little dinky one. So a little dinky one, technical term. Actually played it okay, but it ended up on the bottom tier because as it turned out, the pin was on the top tier. Now this kind of represents my tournament winnings for 2022. It was a lean year, but this was the Penry Trophy, which is my old schoolboys outing at Royal Lytham. And I think I won nearest the pin on the 9th. A rare victory, but a prized towel nonetheless, a nice quality one as well. Now Peter, being the creative type, wanted to do a really funky camera angle here, so he followed the ball. He sort of ran crouched down with his camera. And the ball's going right in the middle of the hole until... Did that ball take a left turn just as it was about to go in? Well, as my golfing pals would be quick to remind me, golf isn't meant to be fair, Thorpy. So there you go. On to the 5th, par 3. Actually hit a nice shot, nice controlled shot into the wind with a 6-iron, probably about 15, 20 feet left of the hole pin high. So for those of you not familiar with golf, when the ball hits the green from a height, it makes a little crater in the green called a pitch mark. And you do this with a pitch mark repairer. It looks like a bottle opener. And you sort of tease the ground up a little bit, you tap it down, and then you barely know it was there. So when you do that properly, when you do repair the pitch mark, the grass will recover in, maybe 3 or 4 hours. If you don't repair it, it stays for weeks before the ground kind of evens out a little bit. So one of the bugbears of all greenkeepers and greens committees around the UK is people who don't repair pitch marks on the green. So be good and repair all your pitch marks, and maybe do 1 or 2 others as well while you're there. So Peter got all creative with his camera angle here. I don't know whether he fell over, but anyway, it reminded me of the old Batman series. Now, because I'm lazy and couldn't be bothered walking all the way back to the back tee, this is a very forward tee, so I think I'm only hitting like a 7-iron here, just to sort of knock it down to a point where the drive might go. It was just to save time. Well, that was a total chunk. I'm going to go with a 56 degree. And that was a nice controlled shot, just pushed it slightly, maybe 15, 18 feet right of the hole. Pleased with that though. Right, let's have a look at this. It looks fairly straight, but I have been known to misread putts. But I must have got it right this time. And just look at the reaction. A mixture of surprise and shock, probably. Oh! 2 birdies in a row. Ooh. Now I must just explain this little sequence. Peter took charge of the microphone, kind of became me for a moment. Just a little piece to camera talking us through how he, if he were me, would approach this shot. See what you make of this.
So we're here on the 7th tee, hoping to hit it straight. I'll probably hit it with a 3/4 cross draw open fade, or potentially if that goes wrong, I'll fall back on my semi-slice 3/4 720.
Well, that all seemed to make sense. This is what he's filling my head with before this shot. Oh. Slight loss of balance there, but I think it ended up okay. So we're here on the 7th, I've just hit a 4-iron off the tee. It's a short par 4 downhill, but into the wind today. The green is very, very long with a massive tier in the middle. So you have a front portion, a back portion, and the pin's right at the front today. So if you get on the back portion, you have no shot putting down to the front. I've got about 75 yards to go. I don't want to go too high, so I'm going to hit a little 52. But if I hit it too hard and go on the top level, I'm in trouble. So this is only a little sort of half shot. Oh no, that's bad. So it looks like an old bunker this, doesn't it? It's been filled in. I have put it in an awful, this is about the worst place you can possibly be. So let me talk you through this shot. This takes some analysing. So I've played a pretty awful second shot. It's gone too far because I pulled it left, turned the club face over, and now I've got to land it probably around here somewhere and hope that it just bounces gently
onto the downslope and then rolls down to the hole. But it's a really hard shot.
Now this shot would normally fill me with dread, but I have been working on this. The longer, smoother backswing, good result.
I'll tell you what, that could be good. Just pleased with that. Very pleased with that. Right, so we've got about 3.5 feet for par. I've got to hit it firm at the right, maybe an inch outside the right lip, otherwise it would dribble down to the left. Maybe even 2 inches outside the right lip. If I don't hit this with confidence, it will dribble left.
Now this tee shot on the 8th is probably the toughest on the course because it's a sharp dogleg right to left, the fairway slopes left to right, and the line on this angle is probably just above my cap on the line that you're looking through the camera.
And that is perfect. So normally that would bounce, I'd get another 30 yards distance on that.
Right.
So because the drive didn't roll at all, I'm a lot further back than I would normally be. This is a 5-iron I'm going in with here. And it would ordinarily be maybe an 8 or a 9 with a drive like that. But there you go, and you're often off a downhill lie, which makes this second shot tricky if you're well back off the tee. But on this occasion, hit a good second shot.
Right, so we've got about 25 feet for birdie.
I always think the key with long putts is to get the distance right. You can misjudge the line slightly, as I did here. I didn't really see the right to left break and missed it on the low side, on the left side, but I judged the distance well. So in the end, it was a fairly comfortable 2-putt.
Right, Pete.
So on the card, this looks like a really short par 5, but it's a tricky tee shot to get the line right. It's a sharp dogleg to the right, and then it goes up a steep hill to a ridge and then falls down to the green. So it's mostly uphill. And I hit a nice tee shot and then decided I couldn't really wait for the green to clear. There was a chap ahead of me. I didn't know whether he was finished. So I just knocked an 8-iron to the top of the ridge so I could then see down into the green.
Right, so I've got a 56 degree, I've got about 85 yards downhill to the green, pins at the front.
And this was a nice shot right over the top of the flag and went up maybe 15 feet past the hole, I would say. I love this view down into this green, and again you've got Macclesfield, the Cheshire Plain in the background, so it's always worth lingering a little bit and just taking in the view. It's a very, very picturesque golf course.
Right, we've got about 15 feet for birdie. Uphill. I can never remember whether this putt goes right to left or left to right. I think it's going to go a little bit left to right.
And again, this is my confusion when it comes to lining putts. And this is a course I've started to get to know quite well.
I just hit it a little bit hard. Well, considering I had a triple bogey 7 at the third, not too bad. I had 2 birdies. I haven't had many birdies recently. Putted better, chipping was better, driving was good. 1 or 2 poor short iron shots, but overall quite pleased. So if you've enjoyed this clip, this video, then do subscribe to the channel and do tell me once again in the comments what you liked and what you'd like to see more of in the future. Thank you.